Hello, my name is Stephanie Miller and I represent the Hershey Trust. And I'm asking that you allow the Hershey Trust to sell the Trust's controlling interest in Wrigley Corporation in order to protect our financial viability and ensure the fulfillment of our mission, which is to sustain the Hershey Milton School. Uh, in brief summary, you already know that Milton and Catherine Hershey established the trust in 1909 in order to support a school to educate impoverished children. Today, there are 1,200 children and their families being impacted by this school. The trust has grown to over $5 billion, but however, most of that money is in Hershey corporate stock. The chocolate company is facing potential losses in the years ahead due to international candy companies merging and a number of other reasons. We believe that it's in the Hershey Trust's best interest and our legal responsibility to diversify our holdings by selling to the Wrigley Corporation. I would argue 3 points to support this request. Number one, the benefit to the community of Hershey, Pennsylvania will far outweigh any potential cost. Number two, the law actually requires the board to do this. And number three, by broadening the scope of a nonprofit board's responsibilities, this is a very slippery slope and could harm nonprofit agencies in the future. We understand it's the job of the Attorney General of Pennsylvania to review each transaction to ensure the public interest is fully protected, and we respect that and appreciate the work that you do. However, we would argue that this sale would actually help the community of Hershey, Pennsylvania. As you know, there are 1,200 students and their families already being impacted directly. This, in the big picture, affects our entire, not only our community, but our entire nation really, positively by changing the lives of children who are at risk and helping them to lead productive lives and become good citizens. That's a big impact. More practically, we are also one of the number one job providers in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And if our school in future years were to close, that would be a much larger negative impact than the sale to Wrigley Corporation. In fact, the sale of our stock to Wrigley does not necessitate any losses of jobs or other negative impact, as we could stipulate in the contract that local employees could retain their positions and that the community feel of the company would be retained. We could put certain parameters in place, and we would like to see that done as well. My second point is that the law actually requires the board to act in this manner. We are acting according to the legal standard known as the business judgment rule. And in our own state statutes, 5712, it outlines that rule that board members act in good faith in a manner that he reasonably believes to be in the best interest of the corporation, with care, reasonable inquiry, skill, and diligence, as a person of ordinary prudence would use under similar circumstances. And this is what we see ourselves doing, is upholding that legally required standard. In fact, our own Attorney General's Handbook for Charitable Nonprofit Organizations states that trustees are accountable for charitable assets and as such are responsible for ensuring that funds and assets are protected and invested wisely. We would like to see that happen by the sale of our controlling interest in Hershey to the Wrigley Corporation. Furthermore, Judge Gerhard in the Sibley Hospital case established nonprofit duties of care, loyalty, and obedience, and we feel that through this sale we are fulfilling those duties. My third point in support of the sale is that altering the law regarding our fiduciary responsibility is a very slippery slope and a dangerous door to open. By requiring boards to act on behalf of local political and economic pressures, uh, or in response to those pressures, rather than on behalf of the organization that they are legally bound to protect, this will lead to further ambiguity and potential harm for nonprofits in the future. All decisions in some way impact others, so how will we as a society know how far is far enough? In conclusion, the Hershey Trust would like you to allow the sale of the trust's controlling interest to Wrigley Corporation for three main reasons: to benefit the Hershey community, the law requires it, and the altering of a board's or of the law regarding our fiduciary responsibility is actually detrimental to not only our nonprofit but nonprofits in the future. Thank you for your time and consideration.